system also bars the affected agency from acting.
You're bringing some color to the room.
Man, half my family's from Mexico, so if I don't represent, I'll be like banned.
Yeah, there you go.
How old are you? 25, 35, 50, or older?
We were supposed to have
if
a party
you
in the
have
office,
pain,
but the head
we
party
can help.
planner is
Do
sick.
your knees hurt?
Oh, no.
Let me ask you again. Are your
still
knees
kinda not
killing
feeling
you?
well.
Oh,
I have a really good
What about your back? When you
family
bend
member
over,
that's a
does it
party
feel like
planner.
this?
So if you ever
How
need a
about
backup,
when you get out
Okay.
of bed in the
awesome.
morning? If you're like me, your knees and back feel like this.
She works at
hurts.
I found a company
Yeah.
called the
She plans
Pain
all their
Relief
corporate
Hotline.
events.
Oh,
They
cool.
specialize
And
in
they
ways to
fly her
treat your
all over
knee,
the
back, and neck
US.
pain without
And,
surgery or taking medications.
we did,
the
like,
good
a
news
family
is if you have
get-together for New
insurance,
Year's
you may have
Eve,
little
and
or
she
no
made this
cost
thing
or
look
out-of-pocket
like
expense. I've
high
used them.
class.
It works.
Yeah.
And like this
Pain
1,000
Relief
square
Hotline
foot
now
house.
For free information.
Oh, that's awesome.
800
She went all out, and I was like,
989
okay, I've got
0851.
skills.
800 989 0851. Call
start with that
now.
missed opportunities. I
800
like that.
989
Yeah, it's just kind of an
0851.
oversight. I
That's
think that you
800
kind of get in a routine of kind of like what you're looking
0851.
for.
The following program does not
when you see something
necessarily
with a guest
represent the
house
views
and
or
you're
opinions
comparing
of
it
the
to a house
staff,
that doesn't have
management,
a
or
guest
ownership
house,
of this station.
you're missing
It's
that.
time to
You're
get on the
missing
right
that value.
path with RightPath Real Estate Radio with Jason
All right, you ready to go,
Bible.
Nikki?
Get the answer to
I'm
your
ready.
question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Market here today, huh?
Is it?
Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the
All
air
right, y'all,
now.
stand by.
Taking calls at 713
All right, hot mics in 5,
1817.
4,
Toll free
3,
877
2,
881 0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. Got a special guest today. Last night was our free event that we had here in Houston. Got one next week in Dallas. Weekend retreat is 2 weeks from today in Houston. If you're interested, go to our website, rightpathrealestate.com. I've got Michelle here from Next Gen Appraisals. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks.
So we were talking before the show. You had a couple of ideas, and I think some of these are pretty good. So,
Oh, thanks.
so before we get into them, let's talk about what an appraiser does and why that's important for a real estate investor. So what do you do as an appraiser?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, we evaluate how much a home is worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go out and tell you what the probable value you could sell that home for if you put it on the market today.
Okay.
What that entails generally is going out to the property and measuring it because sometimes square footage can be wrong in tax rolls. So we verify that, verify bedroom, bathroom count, condition of the property. If you're doing a subject to appraisal, then we're going to go determine what the as-is condition is and then evaluate it based on the repairs that you're going to do.
So when you're doing I like to think of that as like investor stuff, right? So you'll do an as-is appraisal, what it's worth today as a giant piece of junk before it gets
We
all the work
can,
done.
yeah, but really those are kind of funny because it's kind of like you guys say all the time, it's really worth whatever you're willing to spend at that point,
Right,
what you're
right.
willing to risk, because not many people are willing to put, I guess on the retail side, they're willing to put their money on the line,
Right.
and take that chance of it.
Well, it's kind of like the house. You went out and did an appraisal for a property we're rehabbing right now.
Yeah.
and it was it's $100,000 rehab, and that's our investor prices. It's probably $150,000 for a retail person.
No doubt.
And
And
most-
Fast Track did the rehab bid, and I love their rehab bids.
Oh, it's amazing,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
God, they break everything down, and even better, they do it room by room.
Yes.
And it makes it easier for my job because I can kind of visually imagine the house and walk through the rooms and try and okay, what is this going to look like? How's that going to be? And then do the comparables. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, Fast Track. So Fast Track was on the show yesterday, and whenever they do a proposal, you get two documents. One is a room by room proposal. In other words, what we're doing in each room.
Right.
And then the second one is their scope of work, but it's in order of what of the job process, right?
Oh,
So you can see where
really?
they start.
I never see that one.
That's
so that's
the other
interesting.
sheet. Yeah, take a look at those emails I forwarded you. One of them in there is they start with demo and they go all the way down the page.
Okay.
So you can set your draw schedule up. That's why they do it in that
Very
fashion.
cool.
It's pretty cool.
Nice job, Fast Track.
Yeah. So it makes your life easy as an appraiser,
It
right?
really
You walk
does.
around and go, this is what they're doing.
It's more like how much confidence I'm going to have in your rehab bid.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you give me something and for instance, if you were to write something down by hand and
Yeah.
say, this is what we're going to do, and we might do the roof, we're not sure, and there could be foundation, but we'll see, then I'm kind of going to wonder what other corners you're going to cut.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at comparables, it's going to make me wonder, okay, is it going to be as nice as this one, or is it going to be more on this side?
So for an investor appraiser, you're going out there doing an as-is appraisal, and that's kind of I don't want to say a shot in the dark, but it is a lot more art than science because there's not a lot of houses that are junky to compare it
So when
to.
you're doing an as-is appraisal, the really only comparable options are foreclosure, short sales, or those as-is sales.
Yeah.
And those aren't very common on the MLS, I don't think. And so when there's less data available, I feel like there's less confidence in me as an appraiser to give you an accurate value on the as-is side. So what a lot of appraisers do, and I do it as well, is we determine the after repair value and then do what's called cost to cure. And so we will then back out the cost of how much it will be to repair the home. But I personally don't feel that's very accurate because there's always an emotional component to buying a house. And there's also an entrepreneurial risk if you're not buying it for yourself. So you're saying, okay, this is how much it's worth. This is the cost to repair. So it puts me at this point, but I want a cushion.
Right.
And every individual person has a different idea of what that cushion should be. So I always kind of disclose that when you ask for an as-is appraisal. I'm like, this is what I looked at. These are the foreclosures. This is the cost to cure approach. This is your value that I'm giving. It's up to you, really. Yeah.
Well, what's amazing too is Fast Track will attest to this. You can walk a house and with 10 different people, and they'll give 10 different rehab bids because some people want this versus that. Even if they're investors, there's kind of one person says we need to do this, another person says that. They really can't. It's hard for them to say, okay, well, this is what it should be, right?
Yeah, you really don't know until you start tearing it up, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then you go look at the rehab bid, and then you've got this after repaired value appraisal, which you went out and looked at the house that we're doing in Sugar Land.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal for me because I did the appraisal on that house, and then you keep kind of doing updates on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've been there. Oh, that's right. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, it was funny. We were walking the house yesterday, and what a lot of people don't understand is we're walking it, and it doesn't look like a whole lot's changed. Like there's stuff that's changed, but it's all of the HVAC, it's all of the plumbing. It's really expensive stuff that's
systems,
changed, right?
yeah.
The system side of it. And over the next couple of weeks, and in particular the weekend retreat 2 weeks from now, when folks walk that property, they'll be like, oh, wow, there's floors, there's this, there's that. It's, really
so
coming together.
So what percentage of the, I guess, repair bid or property would you consider to be the cosmetic stuff, like the flooring?
Oh,
because that's what people buy into when they see a house. But when I look at the repair bid, it seems to be such a small component of.
It depends. So when you're at rough end, we figure there's 50 to 60% of the job left.
Yeah.
Because that's all the system stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
But flooring will cost you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 depending on the type of flooring and countertops and all that. And when you compare that to what's HVAC costs, a whole new HVAC system, $6,000, $7,000.
Yeah.
And depending on the size of the house. And then you've got plumbing, and I think our plumbing came out to, we've replumbed the whole house, $3,500, $4,000.
Right. It all adds up.
Yeah, but when you start talking about the cosmetic finishes, those get expensive quick. And the trim levels are different, right? So oil rub bronze, if you look at a brushed nickel faucet versus oil rub bronze, it's not 10% more expensive. It's not 20%. It's substantially more expensive, depending on the trim that you
select. So do you
select.
think people are paying more as far as when you exit the property, or your buyers paying more for that oil and bronze stuff versus satin nickel?
I think they will pay So when we look at comps in a neighborhood from an investment standpoint, it's kind of our Ouija board into the future, right? Yeah. It's kind of like this is the house. Here's the top 5 houses that sold in this market, and we're going to rehab to that standard.
Okay.
Now, if it looks like we could make a couple little changes to give it kind of that wow factor,
Exactly. There's
then
wow
we'll do that.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always what sells the house, I think, is that one detail that's the wow factor.
So if it's, for example, if we see everything in that neighborhood has tile, we might go with a wood floor. A little bit more expensive, but we'll see if we can push those comps a little bit. However, that doesn't, we already add that into the budget. So it's not, if we go above market, great. If not, we're still making good money.
Yeah,
you're
not, you're still going to be good even if you spend a little more.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't get real crazy with some people. Here's another thing, and you could probably attest to this. I'll never forget, we bought a house up in Kingwood, nice area of town, and we were trying to figure out what do we rehab this thing for. We'd already bought it. We put a rehab estimate in, but now we were to the point where we're like, okay, what are we going to pick, all that kind of stuff. And we're starting to really scrutinize the comps. The exact same floor plan on the street next to us was a complete new build. The house had burned down, and they literally built it from the foundation up.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was wild. Brand new house. And the ARV was the exact same as the house that sold next door that was completely unrehabbed. That was just clean and comfortable.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it was clean and comfortable, and it was 25 years old, right?
Yeah.
So then we look at our house, and we're like, what are we going to do? Paint it, make sure the carpet's nice, maybe put in some floors if it needs it. And granite countertops, so that's about it. I mean, we're not going to take all the paneling down.
You don't need to go to the level of the new build because you already know that the semi-good one sold for the same price.
Right. And what's fascinating is the market is not rewarding you for building a new house.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
It is. It's real interesting.
It's amazing how new builders, I guess, are having trouble getting funding for development. And then that's compounded with people aren't willing to pay more just because it's a new house.
Right.
And so I'm curious how that's going to play out in 5-10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been real interesting. All right, we've got a caller, sounds like.
Hey.
We got to go to break. Go to break.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got to go to break first.
Thank you, Nikki.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki.
You're welcome.
This is Jason Bible with RightPath Real Estate. I'm here with Michelle Elmer of Next Gen Appraisals. Emler. Sorry, I always screw up your last name. When we get back from the break, we'll talk more about appraisals. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Mike's off, guy.
All right. I don't know why it has.
Are you an active real estate investor?
Up here.
If so, a real estate attorney is a crucial member to add to your team. Contact Ehlert Law at 346-231-1120.
I don't know if I can change
Ehlert Law
that
serves
right
clients in real estate and business law with principal
I can change that
offices
after the
in
show.
Houston and their acquisitions and dispositions. We are equipped to serve you in your residential and commercial real estate law needs. Contact Ehlert Law at 346-231-1120. We draft and review docs and structured transactions and represent you in disputes and litigation. Or choose one of our transaction packages to cover your sub-2, wholesale, wraps, or private financing deals. Our business and commercial services include business contracts, entity formations, and business consultations. If you need a reliable, dedicated firm to serve on your team, contact Ehlert Law at 346-231-1120. 346-231-1120. Paid for by Gerald Ehlert, Principal Offices in Houston, not board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization.
If you have cracks in your walls, ceilings, or floors, you may have a foundation leveling problem. Do you have doors that stick or just won't open right? Maybe you have gaps in the bricks of your fireplace. You need Green Tree Foundation Leveling, a fast, high-quality foundation leveling company based here in Houston. They know how hot it gets on the Gulf Coast. High summer temperatures, heavy rainfall, and clay-rich soils are leading causes of foundation cracks. If you have a cracked slab or a shifting foundation, call Green Tree Foundation Leveling at 832-329-1687. How old is your house? Many older homes in our area require foundation repair simply because of our climate and soil conditions. Green Tree Foundation Leveling provides free estimates within 24 hours. They repair concrete slab foundations and pier and beam homes too. The experts at Green Tree Foundation Leveling work fast and offer competitive rates, even a lifetime transferable warranty. Call 832-329-1687 to schedule an appointment with Green Tree Foundation Leveling.
Investor loans offering up to 100% financing are still available. You just have to know where to look. Look no further than Noble Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even
we got 90
no-income
seconds.
documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call and ask about our 5-point guarantee, which includes free pre-qualifications within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today, 713-680-8100, or visit us on the web, noblemoney.com, noblemoney.com.
So
NMLS
when you start to get above 2,000 square
292143,
feet, let's say
8203
3,000
Willow
square
Place
feet,
Drive, Houston, Texas.
that's a decent size for
77070.
most families, right?
Are you looking for an
So-
investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look
or
at,
reach us on
look
the
at
web
pricing
at
trends just in that little neighborhood you went in
fasttrackremodeling.com.
Sugar Land. It's gotten
Fast Track
ridiculous
Remodeling
over the last
specializes
couple of
in
years.
turnkey
Because
remodeling
they're
of
buying in that
single-family
school district.
investment
Now they're willing
properties.
to pay for
Whether
the
it's a flip
quality
rehab or
product
a
'cause they
rental
got the
rehab,
school
we
and
manage every
all that
aspect of a
stuff, so-
rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized
Katie's
process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us
All
to
right,
create
30
our
seconds,
3 Ps
and
to
Brian
success.
hung up,
Use
but he
a
may call
detailed
back.
scope of
okay.
work so that
All right,
everything
we got
gets
30
done.
seconds.
Train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete
yeah.
the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing
Yeah.
it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992.
It's just a little
or reach us on the
2,400
web
square
at
foot house in
fasttrackremodeling.com.
Sugar Land, right?
Right.
All right, you guys, stand by. Stand by. Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I'm here with Michelle Emler of Next Gen Appraisals. I interviewed a buddy of mine one day on Interview Investor Friday, and I've been screwing up his last name for like 2 years, and he never said anything until we were on air.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
It was like, it's pronounced like this. I was like, well, let's just wait until there's a couple 100,000 people listening to it.
Yeah.
To
Oh, wait,
correct
not that
my
many, right?
Pronunciation, yeah. So, all right, we were talking about appraisals on properties. Some neighborhoods where new construction is going for the exact same price as a house that's 25 years old.
Yeah, well, I guess we need to clarify, because if you go into a neighborhood where there's just a couple builder options and they're the ones developing the neighborhood, then they're really controlling the prices. So they're not going to sell for less just because there's resale inventory within their community. But if you go into a neighborhood that you're basically getting a custom home builder to do it versus I guess I call track home builder to do, then yeah, I'm not seeing much, if any, of a price difference.
Yeah.
I don't think people really care about that as much. I think they just want a good quality home. And some people even prefer, I think, a lived-in home because they know that it works, I guess. Whereas you get the new home, you're kind of taking a risk that something breaks and you got to track down that builder.
Yeah, you'll see I always find interesting new buyers are like, I'd love to have a new home. And I'm like, having built a new house before to live in, I'd much rather have the pre-owned model. As all of the issues already fixed and you're not chasing builders down and getting subs in to fix stuff. And yeah, I much prefer the pre-owned model to the new home. So
yeah, especially if you're going in a community where there's only like 10 floor plans being offered. If you found a floor plan you like, just wait till that home is for sale in the used inventory versus waiting to have it built new, because it's going to take at least 6 months to be built anyways, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's a little secret too in a lot of those neighborhoods. We'll just share this with the people listening online. So those of you on the radio, this is just for the people on Facebook. So but a lot of times the houses that are resales that are 2 or 3 years old in a new build neighborhood are cheaper than the new construction.
No way.
Yeah. You have to go look at it sometime. It's real interesting. A lot of times what a lot of people miss is builders will sometimes get people into those houses with all those incentives that really can't afford those houses, and they need to sell within 5 years.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense. Because they do. They offer a lot of, we'll take 10 grand off if
That's
you do
right.
this or if you sign today or whatever. And they haven't even been pre-approved yet.
Right.
And, they just sign the contract and now they're locked in, whether they have funding or not.
Get all this cash at closing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's scary. But yeah.
Well, go have at it, guys.
Yeah, I guess so.
We need a healthy market crash just to get back to a normal market.
You think so?
Yeah.
I really think that it's been, I kind of have the same mindset. I think it's been really good for really long and it's not natural, I guess. You're supposed to have peaks and valleys, right? And a healthy market, a healthy economy. And we've been kind of still climbing this peak and I don't know.
I think the biggest issue is there's no new construction. I mean, there's new construction out there, but not nearly as much to take care of the need of all the people moving into Texas.
Yeah, so that's driving used home sales up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going crazy. All right, so let's talk about missed opportunities. Our caller said he's going to call back.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. He sent me a note on Facebook. So I have to call back. I got a phone call. So let's talk about missed opportunities. So what have you seen as an appraiser out there, missed opportunities that real estate investors may be stepping over instead of taking advantage of?
I see a lot of investors kind of overlooking historical homes. There's a lot of historical districts here in the greater Houston area. Galveston actually has 4 of them. And those historical districts, if you have a home in that area, is protected by these different societies and organizations, preservation committees. And so you have probably a smaller subset market that you're selling to, but that market is willing to pay a premium to have these nicer, you know, historically restored homes. I think that when you are evaluating how much that home is worth, it's difficult to sometimes find comps because there's not many homes that were built 100 years ago that, are on the
Houston,
market, right?
I will tell you, in Houston, we were doing the weekend retreat last weekend, and we had some guys in from, where were they from? They were from Pittsburgh. And I think all their houses started at least 100 years old.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then another guy up from Boston, he's like, oh, yeah, the young one is 100 years old. I'm like, not in Texas, man.
Yeah,
we bulldozed those long ago and built something else. So.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of historical communities. I think even in Navasota and a few other smaller towns have them too. And they have, these preventative societies that want to protect these homes, and then there's also a community that wants to buy these restored homes, don't necessarily want to do the work themselves,
right?
Because they're probably not familiar with what all that entails. So it probably would take longer on the rehab side.
On the rehab's much more expensive. That's for sure.
And it would take a longer amount of time too, I would think, to do it correctly, because you can't just throw in anything. It has to. If you have original hardwood floors, you got to go in and restore them rather than just throw in new flooring.
And then in a lot of these rehab houses, you've got to go in and find the original if you need to replace it.
Yeah.
And that can be... We ought to ask the Fast Track guys about that sometime. I don't think they've done historic homes before.
I'd like to know.
Yeah. Where are you going? Where are they going to find those 100-year-old doorknobs? Not at Home Depot, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. You got to have the right mindset and the right drive, I think. But I think there's healthy premium for that. And when you're trying to determine what the value is, you need to look at other historic homes. Homes that were built 50, 60 years old are not comparable to a 100, 120-year-old home, So I think that's a good opportunity that investors could probably look into that might be being overlooked right now.
What about properties with like guest houses on them?
Yeah, guest houses are an interesting opportunity because it's kind of a multifamily, really, if you think about it, because you have a single family and the guest house that you can rent out. But it's not multifamily, it's single family.
Right,
so I think the financing side probably works out better. I don't know.
That's just single family.
You would just get a single family loan, I would think. And then, you essentially have double the rental income if that's the route you take. And when you're evaluating how much that home is worth, if you're looking at other homes that don't have a guest house, then they're obviously probably going to be worth less. You got to really determine that for sure. But most communities that offer a guest house, and it's commonplace. Like Champion Forest, for instance, I think 1 in 10 homes in that area have a guest house. It's pretty common. So you gotta, or not guest house, but they have guest quarters over the garage. And so you got to go and find those similar properties to determine value.
Whenever I hear someone say something about guest house, all I can think about is O.J. Simpson and Kato Kalin.
Right, yeah.
Because Kato was living at the guest house, at the O.J. mansion. So whenever I hear someone say, "Oh, I've got a guest house," and I'm like, "You got your little Kato living out there."
Fit, yeah.
That's right. Glove don't fit. You must have quit.
Yeah.
That's so. All right, historic homes and guest houses. So maybe we could talk a little bit about the difference between like a single family appraisal and a multifamily appraisal. And I know you don't do commercial appraisals, but you've got a pretty good idea of how those things work.
Yeah, we can actually appraise 2 to 4 unit properties. Okay. Anything up over that is considered commercial real estate. 2 to 4 unit properties are very different than single family because, well, let's back up a little bit. So single family, you have multiple exit strategies, right? You could rent it or you could sell it to someone that wants to live there. Multifamily, the only people looking to buy multifamily are other investors. So it's a smaller pool of buyers, right?
I think this is a really important point that a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
What makes single family so attractive is you have multiple people that are going to buy it, right? You got retail and you got investors. And of those two groups, you have subset. People who pay with cash and people who use leverage, right? So you really have 4 types of buyers.
Yeah.
When you get into a duplex, there's only one buyer out there. It's an investor, right?
It's an investor. And investors aren't looking to say, "Oh, this is so nice. I love the cabinets. I can't wait to live here." They're like, "How much money is this going to make me? How much is out of pocket?" You know, they're looking at the numbers. And so the appraisals for 2 to 4 unit properties very much reflects that. We're looking at the numbers. It's actually one of the only reports where the rentals come before the sales.
Oh, interesting. So when you're looking at the appraisal on a 2+, you immediately go into rental.
We're looking at rental and income, and we try and determine that first. And then we do an income analysis, which requires us to find a gross rent multiplier. So if you don't know, basically, if you bought a home for $100,000 and it leases for $1,000, then you have a 100 gross rent multiplier. So we go and determine that for the multifamily and what other investors, what their GRM was, and then basically apply that to yours. And that gives us a value. And then we go and look at other sales.
So let's back into that, because one of the things I'd always heard with the small multifamily up to 4 units is that it's evaluated very similar to single family. And that doesn't sound like it's the case at all. It sounds like, hey, let's see what the rent comps are, and then compare it to what's sold.
I don't think it's similar, no. You still need to do your due diligence and look at other sales. That still plays a big role in the report. But ultimately, whoever's buying a multifamily property is looking at it as a business. They're looking at it from an income standpoint. How much money is this going to generate? How much, what am I looking at from that point of view first? That's question number 1. Then they want to know, okay, well, if I need to exit out of it, how much can I get for it then? So it still plays a big part, the sales comparison approach, but it's more weighed on the income and sales comparison approach.
So when you look at that gross rent multiplier, you're looking at market rents at the time, right? Because that makes sense.
Yes, it does, actually.
It does. Okay, yeah. So are you looking at what, single family, or are you trying to find similar multifamily?
Similar multifamily rentals, yeah.
So if you can't find those similar because there's a bunch of neighborhoods around town that there'll be little 2, 3, 4 units in the middle of all the single family stuff. So how do you come up with, let's say, your gross rent calculation at that point?
You would go further out. Single family is not comparable to a multifamily dwelling. An example, in most cases, a single family, obviously, like we discussed, has multiple exit strategies, but it also has a garage, a yard. It's a private residence separated from the other units. You're not sharing walls. So that rent is not the same as what a multifamily would rent for.
I got to tell you, you're breaking a lot of wholesalers' hearts right now.
I know, I'm sorry.
All right, we get back from the break. We're going to talk more with Michelle Emler of Next Gen Appraisals. It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Mic's off.
All right. Please call that for me. You want
No, I'm okay. You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
Junk King is your full-service junk and clutter removal solution. You just point and we will do all of the work. Junk and clutter can be appliances, furniture, yard waste, trash, construction or remodeling debris, items left by former tenants, or anything you wish to dispose of that does not require a permit for hauling. Apartment, attic, garage, and office cleanouts or yard cleanups. We even assist with tenant evictions where law enforcement is present. Our courteous, uniformed, and professionally trained teams provide you with free estimates. We will beat any comparable competitor's written quote, and we even sweep up after every job at no additional cost.
It's like a meat locker.
Junk King is the greenest junk hauling service in North America. We donate, recycle, repurpose, and reuse as much as possible from every load, and we are averaging 60 to 80% nationwide. Fully insured, Junk King would love the opportunity to showcase our services and earn your business. 1-888-888-JUNK.
Are you expecting to close accurately on time?
We got 90
with
seconds.
Lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage.
But a couple of
Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Investor Loan Source is Houston's premier investor loan company. Our products and approval process are unique in the Houston
and I think
marketplace.
part of it is because it's
First of all,
actually
we loan
first
based
colony
on the asset
HOA. A
alone.
lot of people think
that
like
means
all
no
the
credit
houses
minimums,
around there are
no
first
income
colony in some
requirements,
case.
and no reserve minimums.
There's a small
Second,
it's on either side
we
of
have
Highway
short-term
6.
loans for fix and flip,
So
and
First
several
Colony is actually
long-term options for
bisected
rental
by
properties.
Highway 6.
Since we're
instead of being
asset-based
one of these
lenders,
master plan
everyone
communities
is
where you
approved.
drive
Check
in
out
like
Investor
Cinco
Loan
Ranch,
Source
where you
at
drive in, like,
ils.cash.
that's
All right,
the
we're coming
neighborhood,
back.
right?
ils.cash.
All right, stand by, guys.
This
All
is
right.
Business 1110.
All right, hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I gotta give out the phone number 713-785-1817 if you've got questions for Michelle regarding appraisals. So I'm gonna assume you pull all of your numbers, rent comps, sale comps from like Zillow.
Sorry.
No, you don't pull it from Zillow.
Threw me off with that. No, we have to use verified sources.
Okay. That's an appraisal.
Yeah,
term,
isn't that
verified
something else?
sources.
Yeah.
I like that. So what does that mean?
So that has to be a source that basically we can hold someone accountable to that information.
Okay.
So if we were to go and use Zillow, they'd be like, oh, well, I'm just trying to lease my house and, I didn't know. And it's like, okay, well, I can't take your word for anything. So HAR obviously is used by realtors. That's a verified source. Rentals are not in tax rolls, but that's another verified source that you can use. Another verified source would be HUDs. If you're in a neighborhood and there's not a lot of sales, sometimes realtors have, I guess, off MLS deals and they will send us HUDs. And that's especially important in, like we were talking about, new construction communities. They have stuff that closes, like 5 days ago, but they don't put all their stuff in the MLS.
Right.
So they'll give us a HUD, floor plan, et cetera.
I've got a buddy of mine that lives in Alamo Heights in San Antonio, and a lot of the houses get sold.
That sounds like a San Antonio neighborhood.
It is, yeah, it is. And it's very nice. It's kind of like the equivalent of Memorial here.
Okay.
And so a lot of those houses get sold word of mouth at the country club. I mean, it's that kind of thing. So
very much so. There's even a few Facebook pages that you have to be like a member of in order to find deals, which is kind of wild because it's like its own independent MLS, I guess. But.
Yeah, it's just we like to call it pick your own neighbor program. Like we start rehabbing a house and we put a sign out in the yard and people call us, hey, might be interested in buying the house, or we're running into neighbors. Hey, what do you guys do? I'm rehabbing the house. Hey, you know what? You can pick your own neighbor. So why don't you start referring your neighbors or your friends to our agent, and we'll show it to you when it's done. We only show houses when they're done. So we call it pick your neighbor program. So. That's
pretty cool. Man, y'all sound like you've been doing this a while.
We've done a handful of houses now.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
That's not like the regular real estate guru. They're like, well, I've done 100 houses like 30 years ago.
Yeah, I've done 10 houses, and I'm here to help you.
Yeah, I'm here to help you. Yeah, and you're like, 10 houses?
I'm here to help you do 10 houses, too.
Yeah, exactly. 10 houses. You're like, that was January for us. So... We call that January, right?
10 houses is nothing to be ashamed of,
no,
right?
It's
That's
not.
actually
it's
pretty
not.
great. I just don't think if you've only ever done 10 houses, who do you want your mentor to be, I guess? Do you want it to be the guys that have sold as much as y'all have, or do you want it to be the guy that's done 10?
I think I have to go between all the companies now. I think we're up over 400 at this point in 4 years, less than 4 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, but the reality is like, it's kind of like going out and doing appraisals, right? If you do 5 or 10 of these things a year, you see real estate, right? And you get a good education in real estate.
Definitely. You learn probably more in the first 10 than you do the second 10.
But when you do a whole lot of these things, that's when you start to see the real crazy stuff, the real outliers, right?
Yeah, it's like we were talking about last time where I'm like, you're too far zoomed in. You need to zoom out. You need to zoom out and look at the big picture. If you're focused in, you're like, well, I got this one really. It's kind of like that appraisal we were just talking about. There was one really great sale, and it indicated a much higher value on that particular appraisal. But you can't determine a value and a statistical probable sales price on one comp. Sure, it's possible, but is it probable? And so, yeah.
Now you're really blowing people's minds. Wait a minute. There's a difference between probability, something being possible, and something being probable.
Yeah.
Like anything's possible, right?
Yeah. Like it's possible that I'm going to get something to eat after this show.
Yeah. But is it probable? No, because you got 900 other things to do.
Probably,
today, right?
yeah.
It's kind of like you get the wholesale deal that gets sent out, and it's like, this house might be worth $500,000.
I think,
it's more probable that it's worth $425.
Yeah, definitely. When I see wholesale, and not everyone's the same. Not all wholesalers are created equal.
Sure.
But I definitely feel, I'll say a majority of wholesalers, when they send it out, it's possible versus probable.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What is that from Dumb and Dumber? So you're telling me there's a chance? It's like that's what I think when I get first presented with a wholesale deal. I'm like, so you're telling me there's a chance it could be? Then I always like to ask, so how many deals have you used your own money for? Oh, none. So this doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But in any case,
it's kind of like it's possible you're going to win the lottery.
Yeah.
Probably not probable.
Yeah, it's not probable that you're going to win the lottery.
Wouldn't make a business decision based on that.
It's funny. Somebody asked me the other day, what would you do if you won the lottery? I was like, same thing I'm doing now.
Isn't that great? Isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah,
I had that
thing.
same thought the other day. I was like, man, if I would still be doing what I'm doing. And that's a good
You're
feeling.
a business owner, and it's like I'm kind of like I'd be doing the same thing. Just
I'm so
use a lot more
happy
of my own
doing what
money.
I do. Yeah. So
it's kind of like when I hang out with friends of mine, they're still kind of working in the corporate world that hate their jobs, and they all start getting around. They start kind of complaining, and I'm like,
I feel off. Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
You almost feel guilty listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, you ought to figure out what you want to do with your life and start doing that, because it sounds like you're pretty miserable.
And it's also harder when it's family, when it's people you love, you care about, and they hate their jobs, and you're like, there's this opportunity, and they're trying to evaluate the risk. And most people, I think y'all touched on this in y'all's event, was fear. Fear prevents so many people from taking that risk. And I had fear going from working at a very stable job at one of the top 4 banks to jumping out and learning how to be a real estate appraiser. That was very scary. And it was even scarier saying, okay, well, now I'm individually successful and I'm trying to expand this to a larger company. That's a whole nother risk. That's fear, almost prevented me from doing that as well. But
it's kind of like that you going from a solopreneur to actual business owner.
Yeah, there's a difference, right?
And
I was very naive when I was a solopreneur thinking that there wasn't a big difference. But there's a very big difference.
I'll tell you, and I know everyone is supposed to hate Donald Trump now, but one of my favorite things, that's like the cool thing right now, but one of my favorite things that Eric Trump said during the campaign is he said there's a big difference between someone signing the front of the check and the back of the check.
Yeah.
And you don't get that experience you don't really understand it until you start doing it.
There's a responsibility you feel when you have other people and you're starting a company and they're relying on that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And all those families that you impact, like all the guys that are working, we have employees and we've got contractors, but all those contractors rely on you performing, right?
Yeah.
So it's even in our little company that does a few hundred houses a year. I mean, it's hundreds, if not thousands of people that we're impacting through the things we're doing, which is when it was just Tom and I, it was me and Tom.
Yeah, if it hurt you and Tom.
Yeah,
right?
and it was no big deal. But now it's this huge 3 organizations now. So
there's also more of I guess we're getting off topic. I think
No,
we
I
should
think
probably
that-
be talking about real estate.
But I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. There's a lot of people listening right now because they don't get to see. This is like the behind the scenes of owning a business.
It is. And if you're doing this, if you're going into real estate investing, like you guys always preach, and I completely agree, you have to treat it like a business. If it's not making you money, then why are you doing it?
Yes.
And believe it or not, there are people that do this as a hobby. They don't care if it makes them money. They just do it because it's fun. And it blows my mind when I meet them, but, good on them.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of landlords who don't run it like a business. Like they run their asset like a business, but they're not generating enough cash to go out and buy more houses. So their business stops, right? So, for example, they're $10,000, $15,000 out of pocket to go buy a deal, but they're not generating enough cash to go buy another deal that costs them $10,000 or $15,000 out of pocket.
Right.
So they can't grow their business, right? They're relying on their W-2 income, and they think that's a business. And one of the things we teach at the weekend retreat is I'm like, no, that's an investment. That's not a real estate business.
Yeah, there's a W-2 is also another safety net.
Right.
You got it. And so when you cut the safety net and you're completely self-reliant on yourself, generating your own income versus someone else, like you said, signing the front of the check for you. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. All right, so let's go back to appraisals.
Is that why we're here?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, appraisals. Okay, so let's go back to breaking it down for the multifamily side. So and these are like 2 to 4 units, you're looking at the lease, what these things are leasing for.
Yeah, that's the first part of the equation, right?
Okay.
How much is this? Okay, let's take things out of context. That's sometimes how I have to understand things. So if this was a restaurant,
if
you went and you bought a restaurant,
yes,
your first question would not be how much is the building worth,
right?
You know what I mean? You don't care what the building is worth. You care how much money this business is going to make you. And so that's very much what 2 to 4 unit residential appraisals are. So we break it down on the sales comparison side after we've done the income evaluation is how much is this property worth per unit, per room, so that includes like family room, bedrooms, every room, per bedroom, and per square footage. You have a bigger place, you generally can lease it for more. So those tend to have a higher value. So those are the 4 components, and then we reconcile that
1 minute
and then give it a value based on all of that information.
One of the things I've said for years now is multifamily is not real estate. It's a business.
Yeah.
You're not buying a building. You're buying all those little people in there. You're buying the lease. You're buying the cost to manage that whole thing. I mean,
Right.
it is, you are buying a business. It's not a piece of real estate.
Yeah, you got to kind of look at your renters, I think, maybe as employees is a good way to think of it. Like, how you got to take care of them and they got to take care of you, right? So if you're taking care of the property and you're giving them a quality place to live, then they're going to provide you that rental income.
That's
It's a
right.
mutually beneficial
Absolutely.
relationship.
Absolutely. All right, when we get back from the break, we're going to talk more with Michelle Emler of Next Gen Appraisals. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Mike's off.
Just screwed up against Emler, right?
You keep you emphasize it now. You're like Michelle Emler.
That's
Emler.
Because I really want to say Elmer.
I know.
It's like the L is on the other side of the M.
Everyone does. So don't. Yeah, you can call me Elmer. You can't, but you know, I'll forgive you the first few times.
That's right.
Appraisers specializing in investment real estate.
All right, let's see.
We
what else
understand
got
that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is
Oh,
worth, but a
this is you.
comprehensive analysis of the market.
I know, it's so
Give
weird.
NextGen a
Isn't it
call
weird?
at
It's weird.
713
I listen to myself on the radio.
9911 or
That's
check
one
us
of the things
out
that tell you to
online
get better.
at
That's how you get better. You listen to
nextgenappraisals.com.
yourself.
Is it?
It's really weird the first couple times. Now I'm used to it.
I did it when I was on with Tom a year ago, and that was fun. I was like, "Oh, fine, okay, this is." And now I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know. Because like last time I kind of did it for fun, and it did actually generate business for me. But now I guess because I'm more critical of myself, and this is directly to.
Are you a rehabber?
You know, that's why I'm doing it on a continual basis to generate more business.
On a single policy will help save time and money.
A lot more
Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years.
It's like, oh, it's fun as one time. If I mess up, people eventually forget. And now,
call us and let us show
you know, I do it, and when we go to y'all's events, they're like, "Oh, you're Michelle." It's like, "Oh God, you know me?"
Yeah, you know that's weird.
Yeah.
Online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Wait till they stop and kind of stare, and there's a little circle around you, and you're like, "What?"
Oh, that happens?
That's funny.
It's different.
Or
I'll tell you
online
that.
at benchmarkbroker.com.
I heard you on the radio.
Do you have
and then
cracks
you say,
in your brick,
I heard you
doors
listening.
that stick,
And they
or
go, "Wait,
sheetrock
what?"
that's coming apart? Then you may have
My
foundation
default answer
movement.
is thank
Due to our
you.
expansive
Thank you,
soil,
yeah.
And
thanks.
does that sound weird when
Probably not
when
a
you say
question of
thank you?
if you have
I heard you. Thank
that
you.
win. Call
You don't say that in real life.
But and then you say, and then you, the next thought is, it was good, right? Like they're
I know,
telling you
yeah.
that
You're like,
as
you
a-
want to say that, but you don't want to
evaluations.
give the impression that you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about business. That's a very big part of business is having an image.
Right.
You have to protect that. So you kind of want to ask, what did you think? Was it okay and everything? Yeah. But you're just kind of like, thank you. You know, let them tell you what they want you to know.
Yeah, because you never know if you're going to get a compliment or no.
Yeah,
Don't
I will never speak to you again.
That's right. Let me give you the list of what.
Look,
things
I
we
gotta
need to
tell
talk
you,
about.
being an appraiser, like half the people love you and half the people hate you. There's nobody that you know. You either have friends or enemies, nothing in between. So I have no acquaintances. I have just friends and enemies.
Your ordinary sign shop.
So
one-stop shop for all your
I don't know if
signage
we
and
can
graphics
say his
needs.
name,
We're located
if he
in
would
the Galleria
mind. But the
area
one
and
that
been
we
in
did
business
that
for over
appraisal
13
for
years.
in
We
Magnolia.
offer a wide
the-
variety
Oh
of
yeah,
science
we could
products,
totally talk
including
about that.
Bandit,
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Can we
$1
say his
deal?
name? Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about Colby's deal.
Need
Okay,
something
so
printed?
we did that deal
We can
for
get that done,
Colby,
too.
and he was
From outdoor
expecting
banners to
$2 million
business
or
cards,
2.2,
anything in
$2
between.
million, something
Take
like that.
advantage
And
of our
we
laser engraving
evaluated at
services.
1.85.
We can custom
So I
engrave on
called him
many
to give him a
products
heads up.
available
Like,
through
no,
our
this wasn't the
catalog
value you're
or your own
expecting, but it's a
personal
really strong
From
appraisal.
large orders
1
to
minute.
small,
This
we
is
can
what they
accommodate
think.
your
This
specific
is what we
needs.
think the value
We pride
is.
ourselves on
And when you
customer
usually
service
tell
and work
someone that the
one-on-one
appraisal
with
comes in
customers to make
low,
sure they
it's
get
like,
good
you're
quality
wrong.
product.
These are the
Come to
comps
our
we
showroom
use.
to browse our
And
many
his
samples
response
to get
was,
you
thank
inspired.
you.
Want
And I
your
was
business
like,
to get noticed?
you're
Give
welcome.
us a
This
call at
is why I like working with
713-623-4425
real estate investors.
or
Like, if it
visit our
comes in
website,
low,
virtuoso-graphics.com.
there's no hard feelings. feelings or personal feelings. It's like, okay, thank you for helping me make
is Houston's
an
premier
investment decision.
investor loan company.
So
Our products
we can talk about that when we get
30
back from
seconds.
break.
That's fine.
That's one of those things where
First of all, we
he was like, I think it could be worth this.
That means
it
no
could
credit
be worth
minimum,
this too.
Yeah, it's really all over the
no
place,
reserve
right?
Let's call Michelle to go take a look at this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can describe the property a little bit because it's a
long-term options for rental
I actually was not
Since we're
I didn't
asset-based
personally
lenders,
appraise it.
Oh, you sent one of your
but I can
pretty
still,
guys up there.
yeah.
Investor
And
loan
he's
source at
the person we
ILS.cat.
sent. This is
That's ILS.
I don't know. He's kind of the big gun, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right, y'all stand by.
Business 1110.
All right, guys. Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I'm here with Michelle Emler of Next
You're
Gen
gonna do that the
Appraisal.
rest of the life. Every time we see each other.
See you, yeah. Every time I see you, we do it. How do they contact you?
Thank you. Yeah, you can reach us at 713-346-9911 or check us out online, nextgenappraisals.com.
Excellent. So we were talking about one of the guys that works in our shop in RightPath. He's doing a deal. What's unique, I think, about our organization, a lot of our people in our organization are doing deals. And so Colby contracted this property up in Magnolia.
Yeah.
What's the best way to describe this thing? It was like 30 acres.
Big. Oh,
house.
God. 7,500 square foot house, barn dominium. I don't know how much detail he would mind us giving out, but the property next door had a dam that busted, and that was why their property flooded. So, yeah, we went out, we evaluated it. We got it turned around pretty quickly for a house that size and of that value. Generally speaking, the higher the sales price, the more complicated the appraisal.
Yeah,
and those take longer.
And this was a really unique property in that acreage, a house, got an extra house, got ponds and all this other stuff. I mean, it's not like $1 million home in Memorial, right? I mean, you just look next door, that house sold for $1 million, this one should sell for $1 million. So he sat down and said, I'm going to call Michelle because I think it might be worth 1.8, could be worth 2.3. I have no idea.
It actually took that appraiser a solid 2 days.
Wow.
To look at the property, research it, and write it up.
So came in at a number that didn't really work for him. So he went back to the seller and said, "Hey, you know, this thing is not. This is really what it's worth.
Yeah,
we'd be interested in maybe entertaining a different offer." But that was the reason they got the appraisal, to go back to the seller and say, "Hey, this is really what it's worth.
This is what we know for sure what it's worth." Yeah,
exactly.
That's good.
So having an independent appraisal was critical.
Yeah,
for him,
we
right?
don't benefit from the sale of a home, right? And that's
2
kind of, we were
minutes.
touching on the wholesalers, when they send stuff out and they give a value, they do benefit, right? They're not an independent third party that goes out and evaluates a home. So that's why they kind of want to push the numbers a little bit. You pay us, we give you a value. That's the end of our relationship as far as, you know, our profitability. So.
All right, one more time. Let's get your contact information.
Yeah,
for folks out there.
713-346-9911, or you can check us out online, nextgenappraisals.com.
Yeah, fantastic tool for investors. Get your as-is value, get your after-appraised value. Not only investors, but private lenders. I actually want to drag you to our next private lender summit.
I would love to. I love working with private lenders.
Private lenders need an appraiser.
God, they ask some of the hardest questions, but it's nice for me because it keeps me on my toes. Like, we had a private money lender. We did one, I think, 2 weeks ago. And he's like, so I noticed the inventory is high in this neighborhood, and the exposure time seems high, and the absorption rate is high. You know, what is your opinion of that?
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, I don't usually get asked this question, but I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Yeah, but private money lenders are very different than hard money lenders because everything's individual project for them.
Right.
And so they want to know way more than I guess a hard money lender would.
Well, you know, if you're a private lender out there and you're lending on real estate,
30 seconds.
get an appraisal.
Yeah.
It's what I like to call cheap insurance, right?
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's you get a third party that's an
20 seconds.
unbiased third party to take a look at the property, tell you what it's worth. So give them your contact information one more time.
Yeah, 713-346-9911, or check us out online, nextgenappraisals.com. We're also on Facebook, so
there you
follow
go.
us on there.
Well, Michelle, thanks for coming in studio.
Absolutely.
Next Gen Appraisals. This has been Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I've got a great show for you guys Monday. We're going to talk about
This
the
wasn't
middle
a great
class.
show?
This is a great show. It gets to be. I'm by myself in studio Monday. It's great. I always have a buddy with me.
We got to wrap it up.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This is Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
All right, y'all. Have a good day.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to RightPath Real Estate Radio. Find Jason and Tom at
It's Mattress Firm's Memorial Day.